Okay, what we're going to do today, you've probably guessed it, Tails 4.8 has just been released. I haven't looked at Tails in a very long time, and I think even when I did, I was just sort of checking it out in a virtual machine, which is obviously not what you're supposed to do. So it's a security slash privacy focused distribution that lives on a USB stick, and then it connects through like the Tor browser and things like that for your networking. So what we're going to do is install it. I've got the little sort of instructions up. I've not done this before, I don't think, so we're going to just follow the website. I've already sort of flicked through and I've downloaded the ISO, so we don't have to do that. And I also had to download GNOME disks apparently, so we've got GNOME disks ready to go as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip the download because we've already done it. So yeah, as you can see, install Tails using GNOME disks. If you're using the GNOME desktop environment, we're not, but we've just installed it. So what does it want us to do? Plug in a USB stick, a new drive will appear. So we want to restore it with that image in, I'm going to imagine. So let's give that a go. So if we pop open to a new window, let's close that, open up GNOME disks. So we should have a spare one here. I was looking at Mageia earlier just for a laugh. I might do a video on it. It's obviously in the alpha though, so I might not bother. That's Mageia 8. Right, so what we want to do is restore an image. Restore disk image. Image to restore. So we're going to want to go and find... Oh dear. Downloads Tails. Right, so we're going to start restoring. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, so we shall see. Type in our password. Okay, so that says it's going to take less than a minute. It's going at about 20 megaseconds. And then what do we do after that? So once that's done, after the installation is done, eject it. Congratulations, you've installed Tails onto USB stick. Open these instructions on another device. So in the next step, we will shut down your computer. To be able to follow the rest of the instructions, open this page on a smartphone. Okay, I'll open it on my smartphone, but I don't think we really need to have any sort of proper things out, do we? So what is it? This is the most complicated one, as it depends on a lot on the model of your computer. On most computers, our basic instructions to get to the boot menu work fine. Yeah, we can get to the boot menu, that's all good. The goal is to reach the bootloader of Tails. Depending on the computer, the bootloader will either have Grub or SysLinux. Okay, we'll have Grub, I'm going to imagine. Yep, that's fine. That's all good. Yep. No, don't need to do any of that. Okay, so I think we'll be alright. I don't think we're going to need to read the instructions as we go. If we get stuck, we'll just pop open our phone, but we should be alright. So after, let's have a look, what's the first thing? Yeah, so I've seen this bit before. So you can do like a persistent storage, but I don't think it remembers everything. But we'll have a look at it all in a moment anyway. So you can set your language, test your Wi-Fi. Cool. So it's like, what do they call it? Amnesiac. So it like forgets everything after you've sort of rebooted or taken the USB out. Apart from if you set persistent storage. We'll have a look at all of that though, so I'm not 100% sure how it all works. Okay, that's apparently done. So what we're going to do now is reboot this computer, and hopefully we'll be able to get into the BIOS and jump into that USB. So let's have a look. Okay, so you can't see this at the moment. I wonder if I can chuck it over there. There we go. So I can't really see that myself though. Okay, so language is English United States. We want English UK. So let's just type in English and then scroll down to United Kingdom. There it is. So that's already on English UK. So what is in the additional settings? So you can have administrator password. Should we do it? Should we set an administrator password? Let's just do a random one like that. So I think you need an admin password to do certain things like install and stuff. So we're going to make an administrator password. I don't know if it remembers that though. We'll have to see how it all goes. Right, so we're going to start Tails. Let's just make sure everything's right. It is indeed. Okay, let me jump into the display settings and then I can mirror the display, because at the moment you're seeing like the extended desktop. So settings, system tools, settings, there we go. So it's GNOME, but we'll have a look at it in a minute, you'll see what I'm talking about. Right, settings have opened up, so let's go down to display. Right, hopefully we should be looking at the same thing in just a second. bang, we're done. Okay, cool. So let's have a little look around. So we have GNOME desktop. I'm not sure what version. It doesn't really matter though. That's not what is. No, it's not meant to be all modern and stuff. We have the sort of Windows workspacey switcher extension down here. We've got a couple of links on our desktop, and then we've got the Tor. So we're not connected at the moment, so we need to connect to a wireless network. So let's do that now. So in the notes that I was reading, it's removed an unsafe browser. So it had a browser that was unsafe, so people could find your details or IP or something, I guess, on the unsafe browser. Let's connect to this one here. Now let's try and remember my password. Fingers crossed. Okay, cool. So it's now synchronizing the system's clocks. So Tor needs an accurate clock to work correctly. So I guess once that's done, we're good to go. Yeah, so now the Tor little browser's changed there, the little onion. Okay, so before we do all of that, let's have a look around of what's what. So we have an application menu here. I don't know what exactly one this is, but you can also get into the activities overview like that. And then you also have your workspace switcher. So it is basically just GNOME with a few extensions desktop wise. So what does it actually come installed with? So you have the Tor browser, of course, configure persistent volume. We shall have a look at that in a moment. It has Thunderbird to Tails installer. So what's this? Can you install another USB with this, or? Yes, so you could make another Tails USB install from this very Tails. That's pretty cool. So you also have a places plugin here as well, the extension there to jump to specific places. So I guess that only really matters if you've got persistent storage, really, because obviously you're going to lose things, but we'll have a look at all of that as well. So let's start in accessories. You have Nautilus as your file manager, GTK hash, KeyPass.exe, text editor will be Gedit. Oh, so it even comes with GIMP as well, actually, that's pretty cool. Inkscape, LibreOffice, so I imagine it's got the whole LibreOffice suite. Okay, so internet-wise, you get your Electrum Bitcoin wallet, you Onion Circus, Onion Share, Pigeon Instant Messenger. Let's open this up a minute. Interesting. So I wonder what account. It won't have any like crazy accounts here, so it's just got the protocols for Google Talk, IRC, and XMPP. I wonder if you can add others like that. Obviously, it would sort of wouldn't help for security purposes, I'm going to imagine, but I wonder if you can. Right, so let's keep going. So that was internet. We also have Thunderbird as our mail client, Tor browser. So the unsafe browser is still here. This is version 4.8, right? That is what we just downloaded. Yeah, version 4.8. Let's jump into the web browser and see what's going on then with this unsafe browser. Ah, okay. So you have to enable it now. So it's still there, but it's disabled by default. To always enable it, turn on the welcome screen feature on the persistent storage. Okay, cool. So we won't worry about that for now. Let's open up Tor browser and let that do its business. Ah, I got a hot corner though. We don't like hot corners. So it has Office-wise, yeah, you do get a full LibreOffice suite. Program, you get PoEdit. So in sound and video, you get probably MPV or let's have a look, Totem or something. Obviously, the point of Tails wouldn't really be for sort of all of this kind of stuff, but it's nice to have it there. Do we have the settings drop down? No, I think that's Totem. Tell you what, let's open up a terminal. Okay, we don't have the terminal hotkey. Let's open up a terminal in here then. Where's the terminal? Let's get into the overview and just search for the terminal. There we go. Yeah, so it was Totem. Usually always is these days on GNOME. Right, so as you can see, here's the Tor browser. So let's just connect to something, see how long it takes to open up a website. Tyler's. Oh, what's it doing? So we want to get rid of that E, don't we? So obviously it's going to take longer than usual because it's bouncing it through different. Okay, maybe not. There we go. I've obviously not typed it correctly. Not too long. So has it got ad blocker as well built in? uBlock, yeah. So it's got natural scrolling, which is a bit of a nightmare for me. So let's get off of that and just sort out natural scrolling. So as you can see, it's Tails 4.8, the Amnesic Incognito live system. So I think it's just quite handy to have something like this on the USB if you're sort of out and about. Right, what else do we have? Okay, I'll tell you what, should we take a look at the persistent storage stuff? So what we have here is additional software. So you can install additional software. Let's have a look at that. So you can install additional software automatically from your persistent storage. To do this, create a persistent storage and install. Alright, let's create persistent storage. Obviously, as well, Tails won't access any of the disks that are on the computer, so it'll like leave no trace, and I think that even goes the same for the swap partition, if you've got a swap partition active on the computer that you're on. Okay, so we need a passphrase for here, so we'll just do the same as the one that I set for the root access. So let's click create. So this is the persistent wizard persistent volume creation. So I guess what that's going to do is use the rest of this USB. So if we open up known disks, which I do believe is on here that I saw. So where's that? There we go. Right, so what that's done, so I do believe that's actually done it then, isn't it? Here we go. So then what else can we do then? So specify the files that will be saved in the persistent volume. So you can have personal data, welcome screen, it's in beta. The only additional setting to enable the unsafe browser is made persistent. So I think we'll enable it for now, just to check out the unsafe browser and stuff. But I guess they don't really want you using the unsafe browser, which is why it's disabled out of the box. Browser bookmarks, not too bothered about that. Network configurations, no, we won't worry about that. So additional software's on. So you can keep the Thunderbird email settings, we won't worry about that. So pretty much everything there, you even have your SSH client and dot files. Okay, we're going to leave it like that, and then we're going to install some additional software and see how it manages all of that. So let's go for save. Okay, so any changes you have made will only take effect after restarting Tails. So we'll see how that all works. I also want to, I don't know if this is going to save these GNOME settings, but it's winding me up the touchpad scrolling. I don't like natural, I like it to be like down is down, up is up. So it's based on Debian by the looks of it. Let's go back into devices. I've pressed the wrong thing. There we go. Touchpad. So there you go. So it's on natural scrolling, but it just feels less natural to me, that, to be honest. And also you can jump to your different workspaces through here, and then obviously you can minimize and maximize your applications there as well. It's just a GNOME extension. I'm not exactly sure what that one's called, though I've used it before. Right, let's install some programs in and see how it goes. So to do so, install some software using Synaptic Package Manager or apt on the command line. We'll do it with Synaptic. So let's type in the root password that we set at the beginning in the welcome screen. So I'm going to imagine it's going to download things quite slowly, because as you can see the URL is Tor. So yeah, we're downloading at a whopping 70 kbs. So what I'm going to do is pause the video here, and then when that's done we'll come back. Oh no, we've just jumped to 3 minutes. Right, I'm going to pause the video and then we'll come back to it once it's done that. And then obviously when we install some packages, I'll pause it then again, because it's going to be a slow process. Okay, it's just finishing now. So obviously you would never really use this as a daily driver. Just keep it on a USB and then use it for like security, privacy focused stuff, or if you're out and about and you're using like public Wi-Fi or something. Right, that's that done. Let's have a look at what we have got to install. So it should be pretty much everything there you'd expect from a Debian install. So we're going to search for just something random and see how it actually installs. I don't want to do a massive package though, because it will take very long. So I'm just going to see if we have HTOP installed out of the box. No, so we're going to grab HTOP as it's a small enough package, and we'll see how it does that. So it should just be pretty standard. Just go for HTOP. And then obviously we could just install it with apt install HTOP, but we're going to do it with Synaptic. So we're just going to go bang, mark for installation, and click apply. So I've chosen a nice and small package, so it's only going to be 230 kilobytes of extra space, and it's only downloading 92.8, so we shouldn't have to pause the video. It should just be done in a few seconds. So what we're going to do is we're going to check it out once it's installed, and we're going to do a reboot and see how it actually does that with the persistent storage. We're also going to make a little text file actually and just chuck it in our home documents folder to see if that's all worked with the persistent data as well. In fact, let's do that now. So let's go into Nautilus, go into documents here and just type, oh, we don't have like a create text document, do we? Let's use get it. And we're just going to save that into our documents folder. Save. Right, so that's there. So hopefully that'll be there when we reboot as well. Okay, so where has this got with? So that's processing triggers and it's done. Cool. So this is how it works then. So add htop to your additional software to install it automatically from your persistent storage when starting up. So it doesn't save it per se, it will just reinstall it when you reboot. We're going to check it anyway, so we're going to go install every time. And then that will add it into the additional software and the persistent storage. So let's close this now. And let's close that. Okay, let's just make sure that has installed correctly. It has indeed. So there we go. We're using 1.3 gigabytes at the moment, but again, that's not really too much of a worry for what this actually is. So I might test it as well with Thunderbird. I have to think of like a dummy email that I might have that I don't mind showing. But what we're going to do now is reboot and record all of that process and see how it sets that back up with the persistent storage now. So let's get out of that. Let's close that. Let's type in reboot. Let's do it with sudo. There we go. Okay. Right, I'm here. There we are. So we have the encrypted password that we set for when we set it up. So what we're going to have to do is type that in and unlock. And we also want to change it back to the English UK stuff as well. So let's go back to English. Look for UK. It's natural scrolling again. So let's type in that password. And then click unlock. So I guess what that will now do is when we reboot, it will install htop. What we're going to do as well though is go back into administrator password, and as you can see there's the unsafe browser stuff, but we are going to keep it disabled. We don't need that. So let's type in the same password that we have been using throughout this video. Okay. We're going to have to set the screen mirror up again, unfortunately. So start Tails. Right, so we're back on. So now let's see if it's done what we want it to do. So we're still not connected to the network, so we're going to have to do that now. Bluetooth's on by default. I might turn that off. Okay, so what we're going to do is have a look at this notification. So it's synchronizing. As you can see, that additional software has installed successfully. So that was the notification that you missed while I was setting the screen display up. So let's just see if it indeed is. Let's open up the terminal again. Type in htop. Bang. So that's all worked very easily. I'll imagine if you had a larger package, it would be a bit more of a longer process. But they have quite a lot here that you should really need for this kind of distro anyway. So we have Thunderbird. Do we want to just make a quick quick email account somewhere to test out Thunderbird? Should we do it? Let's go into the Tor browser and we'll see how that works. And then we'll set it with persistence. And I also want to see if that text file that we created has worked all correctly. So let's go into Files, Documents. Folder is empty, so it's not saved that. Hold on, what's here? Tor persistent browser, persistent. So it's saving Tor browser stuff. I guess we don't want to save it in the actual home folder then. So we've done something wrong there. So let's try it in persistent. Let's create a new folder. And let's do that again. Okay, so we want to go to persistent, docs, save. So we will do another reboot and see how that's worked. So that's all saved now, so we're going to close that. So we've obviously just saved it in the wrong thing. It doesn't have your home folder as persistent per se. Okay, let's just create a very quick Gmail account or something and test it out with Thunderbird. So where is Thunderbird? Internet, Thunderbird. Oh God, Russian. That's going to be a bit of a nightmare. English. There we go. Okay, so let's create an account. Feel free to email this account. It won't be used again after this. Russian again. English, please. Okay. What should we call it? This is a dummy email Addy. I'll be very surprised if that's stolen. Next. As if. Okay. 127. That's not going to be taken. Next. Oh, what a nightmare. Let's just do any old random thing then. What? I don't have an email. Okay, Google Mail is out of the question. Let's try one of them sketchy mail accounts. Mail.com. I'm pretty sure they won't ask you for verification. They're just happy someone's using the service. Sign up. All of this just to test out the Thunderbird. So this is a dummy email Addy. That won't be taken. Technical error. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do, because this is just being a pain. I'm going to make an account off screen while it's rebooting, and then we'll do it like that. I only want to see how Thunderbird actually works with it as well, and see how that all actually saves the settings. So I'm going to pause the video here, and then when we come back I'll have an email account ready made, and then we'll also test out the reboot to see if we have indeed saved that folder file to the right place, and we'll wrap it up there. And like I said, I'll be keeping this on a spare USB because it's just handy to have something like this for when you might need it. So let's stop the recording for now. Okay, I'll just blur this email out. It's not an email that I actually use, but I'd still rather blur it out. It's like an email that I put on applications. Right, so that is done. So it's got it there. So now if we go into persistent storage, so hopefully we can then just enable something else. So here we have Thunderbird email feeds and settings. So we're going to enable that and see if that has saved the email account that we've just made for that. Okay, so we can close this now. Let's reopen up Thunderbird. There we go, it's now synced to all the folders there, so that works, very cool. So now what we're going to do is do a reboot, final time, and just wrap it up there and see how that's all saved those settings. Okay, mirror, apply. And then what I'm going to do is I'll reconnect to the internet. You can keep it to save it, I do believe, but we don't need to do that. So let's keep changes for that. Re-enable our internet. So this additional software has been installed, so that will be HTOP, and it will be the settings for Thunderbird, and hopefully that document that we created will be in that persistent folder. Done. Right, so let's first off check Thunderbird, because then I can very quickly get that off the screen and not have to worry about that. So let's go into internet, Thunderbird. taking a little while to actually open it up. Mind you though, the fact that it's all running off a USB, it's not as slow as you might think it would be. Okay, Thunderbird seems to have disappeared, and there it is. Okay, so it's not remembered the setting there, so obviously we might have done something wrong, or maybe it doesn't actually remember accounts. Interesting. Okay, I'll worry about that another time. As I said, I wouldn't actually keep it there anyway. So if we go back into the persistent volume, let's see if we didn't actually enable it. No, we have. It is there. Okay, I wonder what's happened there. I'm not too worried though. Yeah, okay. Not to worry. Right, so let's see if that document is where we had it. So let's go into Nautilus. Tor persistent, and there we go. So there's docs, and there's our little file. Cool, I'm going to wrap it up there. Not a bad little first look at this though, to be honest, and it does seem like something that would be very useful just to keep on a USB, just to sort of cover yourself here and there when you sort of want to be a bit incognito. Nice. Thank you for watching. That was Tales 4.8. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.